Hello and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to be doing a stock analysis of JP Morgan and Chase. Now, you probably know what this is. It is the largest bank in the world and it is a large bank in the USA as well. Now, if you like this video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And of course, remember this isn't financial advice. This is purely for entertainment and educational purposes. Now, we're going to go over some fundamentals as well as some technicals on this stock. Now, as you can see, for the day, we're up by 0.6%, and recently it has been quite up and down. As you can see, currently we can see all the way back to March to February in 24. As you can see, in this period we have had quite nice gains. We were trading all the way up in almost 300, up in 280, which was quite high. And then we did see quite a slide recently also on Liberation Day, of course, with every single other stock. It did fall down. But I do like this bank a lot. It is by far my favorite American bank stock, just given their size and just their track record is insanely great. Now, currently, as you can see, we are trading up a bit from previous, and also we recently have this positive earnings report. Now, as you can see, currently we are lying on a support level here, as you can see. If you let me draw a line like so, let's make that straight. As you can see, we are currently lying on a support level, and the next support level is all the way up here in 280. So if we break through that, we might see some huge upwards momentum. Now, of course, remember this is a bank. It's not like Nvidia or Apple or whatever, so it's not gonna explode through the roof. It is gonna be more calm, as banks are usually not, they are a bit sluggish, so to speak. It isn't the one that gets you 40% in a year. It might be 40%, but 400% it's not going to do that like some other huge companies. Now, as you can see, the market cap of JP Morgan is $680 billion, which is insanely huge. Now, something I do like about JP Morgan is their dividends. They pay out dividends 4 times a year. That is the little blue D's you can see down here. As you can see, they pay out $1.4 4 times a year. We just had it recently in the 4th of April. Now, as you can see currently, the RSI is trading with us. As you can see, we are trading in the upper channel here. Recently, we did have this breakout here in the end of March, and then we did see this pitfall down here in the start of April. Now, if you don't know what RSI is, that is the relative strength index. If something is below 70 but above 50, it is in the upper channel. As you can see here, if you follow the graph with the marker here, as you can see, it is trading upwards now because we are also in the upper channel. And then here we are trading downwards because we are on the lower channel. Now, when something is, as I said, above 50 but below 70, it is in the upper channel, which means upwards momentum. If something is below 50 and above 30, it is in the lower channel, which means downwards momentum. And then if something is above 70, it is overbought. That is this outbreak here. And as you're going to notice, they are quite small and quite sharp. And as well as the opposite down here, these pitfalls, that is when something is oversold. So oftentimes it is great to buy down here. But of course, you need to look at it as we do see some other pitfalls down here. Imagine we have a pitfall here for the day, and then the stock continues to slide, and it was just the beginning of a sell-off. Well, then you are still going to have been bought at quite a high price. So that is always something to take into consideration when buying. You always using RSI. Now the earnings are quite great. As you can see, they have beaten them in the past 4 times by quite decent margins. I like when they beat them by this amount because sometimes a company will beat them by 20 and 30% every time, and that's just due to poor guidance. And they guided a bit lower, and that means the stock is gonna pop on earnings day. And I think that is I don't think that is right regarding to the investors. Now, as you can see, as I said, their dividends, they are quite nice, paying out 1.97 dividends 4 times a year, which is great because that can get your dividend snowball rolling a bit faster if you're into that kind of stuff. I personally do love dividends, and 4 times a year, that is a lot faster to get it invested back into the market compared to only once a year. Now, as you can see here, annually they are raking in a shit ton of money. As you can see, the revenue is over 100 billion, and it's just increasing to over 200 billion. As you can see, just how much it has increased from 22 to 24. It has gained over almost 130 billion, which is quite insane. So they are also gaining huge market cap these days, and it is quite nice to see. Now, seasonals on this, as you can see, it is a old bank. We can go all the way back to 69. We are not going to do that. We'll simply go back 15 years. Now, as you can see, some years they do great returns. Some years they don't do that great returns. Now, of course, they lost 23%, then 17, then 9, and then 2010 we were down by 1%. But also some years we have great returns. As you can see, it is quite stable returns. This is of course also calculating their dividends with it reinvested into the stock. So as you can see here, more often than not, they have quite great. We can even go back. Let's just isolate during the financial crisis. Now, as you can see, we did take some huge hits here, but it wasn't really that bad compared to some other banks which took an even greater hit in 2008, especially some banks like Deutsche Bank. They really got beaten. And then, so yeah, it's quite, of course, remember to have an eye out for this. And also see in 2009, they regained quite decently. Now, if we take a look at the technicals here, as you can see for the day, it is a buy, and that is also because it's up by 0.5%, but also just because recently we did see a bit more upwards momentum. And then if we take a look for the month, that is the wrong one, that would be this one, the month, it is still a buy, and that is because, of course, we're trading down here in the start of April, but ever since then we have had quite nice gains, and it looks like we're going to continue that. As you can see, we also just had this golden cross here, which is which shows that there is upwards momentum at the moment, as the short-term momentum is bigger than the long-term momentum, so that shows upwards as well. So chances are we are actually going to get up here and break this 280. If we do that, I think it is going to be quite nice. I do think that they are going to be sitting quite better at the end of the year. My personal target for JP Morgan Chase by the end of the year is 310. So yeah, that would be quite nice. I have to say I don't own any stock in them at the moment, but it is by far one of my favorite bank stocks in the entire world. Now, if you take a look at the analyst rating here, as you can see, we have a quite few compared to how big the company is, as it is 26 analysts. As you can see, we have 10 strong buy, 5 buy, 10 hold, and 1 sell. Now, as I said, my bet is my analysis says it's going to end in 310, which is on the higher side. As you can see, the average is 263, which we're going to hit in about $19 or so. We also have the lowest here in 220, which is more likely than not this sell down here. So of course, it is nice to see that we have a lot of different analysts on it having a lot of different opinions, rather than everything in strong buy or strong sell, which would mean that there would be a bias somewhere probably. But I think it is going to end up around 310. I think 310 is my target, but it's going to sit somewhere between 320 and 290. That is at least what I believe. Now, if we take a look at their estimated earnings, as you can see, they are still just going up, and that is also why I like them, as they are robust, and we do see them making more and more money, and I think they're going to continue doing that. You can also see how they make their money in the financials here. As you can see, most of the way they make money is by consumer and community banking back in the day, as well as corporate investment banking. That is the yellow and blue ones here, as well as asset and wealth management. They do quite a lot of that. Now in 24, they did change colors. I'm not entirely sure why, maybe due to some restructuring, but it is primarily the same that they made money on in 24, so don't regard these color changes. So yeah. That was my analysis on JP Morgan Chase. Now, if you did like this video, as I said, please like, subscribe, and of course, leave any other companies you want me to make an analysis of in the comment sections below.